Hey guys, welcome back to PQF Academy. Once again, I want to say thank you. I'm on. Last time I checked, I'm up over 700 subscribers now. Wow, I really appreciate that. Like I had said on Monday, I will be giving this bag away. All you would have to do is comment, subscribe. Well, sorry, like the video, subscribe, and comment. And I will be doing a drawing in on Monday's video. Next Monday, that's coming up. Monday's video, I will be saying who the winner is, and then we'll go ahead and I'll give out my email address and everything to you and everything, and then we can go from there. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So I do want to say something. I made a mistake, right? I made a mistake. I made a mistake on the handle. Okay. I had told us to do a 3-inch handle. The reason why I made a mistake on the handle is because of the folding portion of it. In my head, when I had told you guys to do it, because I was telling you guys, hey, you can do this in fabric and in faux leather. I did the measurements as if we were doing it in fabric. So we're gonna fold it over 1, 2, and 3 times. So we were going to do it, fold it in the middle, and then fold it together. That's what was in my head when I told you guys to do it. We're going to use faux leather for this one, right? Like I had said before, we're going to use faux leather. I did say, hey, I can tell you the instructions on how to do it in the fabric material, but no, I want us to use faux leather, okay? So your strap should actually be 2 inches wide and 25 inches long. Okay, so we got the long part right, but we just got the part that was the width. The width. I got that wrong. So what we're gonna need for this today, right? Since we are gonna be using faux leather, so there's gonna be a lot of things that we're gonna need. So we're gonna need our pattern, which hey, we have this. We have our strap. We have our top lining, our bottom exterior, and remember, these right here are the contrasting fabrics, right? So these right here are either a faux leather, right? A faux leather, whatever color you want of that faux leather. We're gonna need sorry, we don't need this pattern. Sorry. I've already cut out my cotton pieces that I would need. So I've already cut out my exterior top. I've also cut out my exterior, my lining bottom. And I've also cut out my pocket piece, and they're all interfaced already also. Because we already know how to do that step, so I don't think I need to show you guys and tell you guys to do that again. So go ahead and cut this out. Now, what I want to do is we want to work with cutting these out onto the faux leather. Yes, we are going to do it on faux leather. All right, so I don't want you guys to be scared whatsoever. It's really simple. It's really easy. Okay. What we are going to need, remember I said we needed double-sided tape. Okay. We need a roller. So if you don't have like this type of roller, if you have a rolling pin, you can use the rolling pin. If you don't have a rolling pin, if you have a can of peas or a can of corn, you can use a can of corn also. And you can also use a mallet. I'm going to show you how to use all 3 of these. Excuse me. I'm going to show you how to use all 3 of these, okay? We also, like I said, we're going to get a little bit into hardware this go around. Not a lot, but the next video we're going to get into a little bit of zippers, because it's time for us to get into some zippers, all right? But we're going to get into a little bit of hardware. So we're going to get into, so these are magnetic snaps. As you can see, they have the female, as they would call it, and they have the male part. So this is how we're going to use to close the bag. So we're going to work on a little bit of hardware and some closures, okay? We're going to be closing our bag. And we also need, you're also going to need, when we're working with faux leather, we want to get a Teflon needle, and I'm going to turn around for this real quick. I didn't mean to say Teflon needle. Sorry. A Teflon foot. A Teflon presser foot. Okay, we need a Teflon presser foot. Or if you do, you can get you a walking foot. Me, I like to use a Teflon. I like to use a Teflon a little bit more than this. Also, this is how easy it is to cut with to sew with faux leather. You can use it. You don't have to get a leather needle. You can use a universal needle. Works the same. You just have to go to the heavier. I guess it would be considered heavier, correct? The heavier needles, like the 80-12 or the 90-14. So you want to use one of those, okay? We don't really want to use the 70-10. We can use it, but you don't really want to. We're also going to need our usual suspects. Some weights to be able to hold down this pattern when we're doing it on the faux leather and we're cutting it. Also, if you have any pins around, like I have clothespins. If you have any clothespins or any type of pins that's not really too heavy, that's not going to really mark up the faux leather, we also need that. We're also going to need those, and I'll show you how to use them and why we're going to use them. And we're also going to use, I need a cutting utensil. And we're also, I don't have it on me, it's actually sitting over there. We're also going to need a pin so we can actually draw out the pattern on the faux leather. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to lay our faux leather out. Now, your faux leather should at least be about, it can be a yard. If it's going to be a yard, at least make sure that width-wise, it is 56 inches or more. All right, 56 or 60 inches or more. The reason why is because we are going to trace this, but we're going to trace it all the way up to about 55 inches. All right, so that's how long we want our strap to be. And we're gonna trace 3 of those. So the reason why I had you do a 25-inch strap is because the poster board paper is about 25, depending on what type of poster board paper you get, is about 25 inches to anywhere to about 29 inches long. So that's really the only rhyme and reason why I had you do it that way. But you're going to go ahead and trace this out. Stop to about right here. Then trace this part out. Stop to about right here. Then slide this down. And so that makes it 50. And then all we need is about another 5 inches. So that'll make it 55. So you're looking at about, like I said, anywhere you want to trace it to anywhere about 55 to about, let's say 60. The reason why is because we're going to have about a 10-inch drop for our handle. And we're going to get into all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and trace this. If you want to sit back and wait until I'm done tracing it, and you'll see what I'm talking about, okay? So this is what this looks like. I'm going to say I trace this all the way down. Basically all the way down to the edge. Sorry about my slippers. So I traced it all the way down to the edge. Now, what I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do it 2 more times, but I'm going to put this close to the edge of this one already. And all I have to do is just trace 1 line. Well, 2, trace all the way down here and then go all the way down and then continue to do that. So I'm going to use that. So I'm going to do that 2 more times just like that. And we'll be right back. All right. So we have all 3 of them traced out already. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my top lining and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it right here. So I got that line right there. And then I'm also going to and then I'm going to take and slide it over and then make 2 of these because I need 2. Remember, I need 2 of these because I have two lining pieces. So I need 2 of these. And then with this, I'm going to go ahead and come down here and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to put this right here, and trace my bottom exterior out. The reason why I'm doing this is because with faux leather, you want to try to use as less as possible. Remember when I had you guys the first time when we made our very first bag and I had you write those measurements down in square inches? This is where this method would come from. Once again, I think it's called a manufacturing method. I may be wrong, But I use this method when I'm dealing with faux leather, or actually technically when I'm dealing with all of my bags. But I'm going to eventually teach you guys that. But so what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get these traced out. Once again, I'm going to trace this right here on this line. Then I'm going to slide it down and trace it again and do the exact same thing. Now, as you can see, I'm not going to have any room to slide this down here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to bring it back up here, and then I'm going to trace this up here. That's going to be on top of my top lining. All right. So go ahead and go. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what I did. I have everything traced out. Okay. One thing I do like to do when I'm dealing with faux leather, and I think you should do this even when you're dealing with multiple pieces. But with this one, I can kind of tell which one's which. But say, for instance, if I'm putting this all together and it's all 100% going to be faux leather and majority of the things look alike. So I would be like, you know, top lining or top L, come here, TL for top lining, or bottom BXEX. So I know that's my bottom exterior. Same thing here. BEX, bottom exterior, and then I just put S for stripe, for the strap, so I know what everything is. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut all of this out, and then we're gonna start getting to the nitty. I have everything cut out. I have my pocket piece, I have my 3 straps, I have my bottom exterior, my top exterior, I have my bottom lining and my top lining. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take and we're going to put these 3 to the side for right now, and we're going to work on these 2. Well, actually 4. We're going to put this to the side also at the moment. All right, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to work on the exterior piece first, right? So I'm going to take and line this up, and I'm just going to clip it. You're not going to pin this. You don't ever want to pin faux leather. You just want to clip it. All right. Clip this. Come on over here. Do the same thing. All right. Clip it. Clip it. Clip it. Now, if you actually want to, if you want to take them all over to the sewing machine, because I'm going to do this, I'm going to take them all over to the sewing machine. I'll go ahead and do the same thing with my top lining. Clip it. Normally, I don't clip, so that's why I didn't have, this is just for demonstration purposes about the clipping, so I don't have any more clotheslines. So, and then we're going to take and we're going to sew whatever your seam allowance was that you embedded, that you created for this part and for the top line, the exterior bottom. So if you did a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance or a 1/2 inch seam allowance, you're gonna do a 1/2 inch seam allowance on the sewing machine. Okay, let's go ahead on over. So one thing I do want to show over here on the sewing machine before we start sewing, whatever you typically keep your length at, when you're working with faux leather or leather, you kind of want to up your length to the highest one. Mine is 4, but me, I kind of like to keep it at 3.5. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know why we do it. I really don't. I'm thinking maybe probably because you don't want it to bunch up so much. But that's what I always was told. So I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it to you and say, hey, this is why you do it and give you some type of explanation, because I honestly don't know why we do it. Now, with faux leather, you can backstitch if you like. You can backstitch, but I always tell people just do 1 backstitch, maybe 2, but don't do it like you normally would do. So you'll go forward, then come back 1, then go forward again. And that's it. Not more, not how we typically would do it. You know, you go forward 3 times, go back 3 times, and then come back again. So no, just go 1, go forward 1, go back 1, and then come forward again. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have all my pieces sewn together. All right, all of them are sewn together. One thing I do want to do, I want to top stitch. But you see how when the seam is up right here, the seam is up, it kind of gives that, the exterior piece takes over. Me personally, I don't like that. I like it when the bottom, like the leather, would take over. So I want to go ahead and fold this down. Typically, I would iron this down, but I can't with faux leather. So I'll either use my roller, and do it. Roll this down. All right, and you're like, but it didn't stay down. It's fine. So then I'll come into the front. Then I'll fold this piece over. And then I'll go underneath also and continue to roll. And then I'll just continue to roll that down. Roll this, and it just rolls down, right? It's not gonna stay down 100%, but it's gonna somewhat, when you go to sew it, when you go to top stitch, it's going to follow a pattern, to where, I should say not a pattern, but yeah, I guess you could say it's a pattern. It's gonna be easier to turn it when you're doing that, okay? Now, once again, if you don't have a roller, just do the same thing with a can of peas or a can of corn. Do the exact same thing. Okay, just do the exact same thing. Now, me personally, sometimes I do like using the mallet. The reason why I like using the mallet is because to me it works a little bit better. So with the mallet, all I do is I start folding this down, put a piece of cloth over it, and hit it. Then I bring it up. Do the exact same thing. Now I'm going to turn it on its side. Turn it upside, right side up. Go underneath, pull that straight. See, as you can see, it's a little bit better of me going underneath. It's working a little bit better, I should say, when I'm going underneath and actually pulling that seam down. And then, because the mallet is a little bit harder, then I'll move down and do it again. Now I'm going to do that to all 4 of my pieces. The same thing with the top lining. I'm going to do it the same way. I'm going to take my mallet. All right. Now I'm going to put this aside. Now even with here, I want this to come up, because I like for the lining, the contrasting fabric to take precedence in this. All right, so go ahead and do that to all, and then go and top stitch right up atop, right there, okay? And then come right back. All right, so we have everything cut out. We have not everything cut out, sorry. Everything lined, our lining lined up. In our lining, our exterior. One thing I do like to do is go back over with the roller over the stitching. It's just like ironing, but it's not. All right, so did that. So one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to show you how to do a pocket again. It's because we know how to do a pocket. We already did a pocket. So we're going to do the pocket. So next step would be for you to go ahead and do the pocket and put the pocket piece on. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to go and get your claps, or your magnetic snaps. All right, this is how we're going to close the bag. So there's 1 or 2 ways you can do it. If you want to, you can find the middle, measure it out, find the middle. You can do all of that, or you can just fold it in half. The middle's there. And then just take and go down from the top. I like to do it about 2 inches. So go down from the top about 2 inches, and then just push it in tightly. And then what it does, it marks it. As you can see, there's little teeth marks right there. Now we're going to do is get a seam ripper, and then we're going to rip that open. But we're not going to try not to go all the way up. Just go a little bit right there, okay? And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. We're going to find the middle, but we're going to do that in a little different way, and I'll show you. All right, so I have my seam ripper. gonna put that, make sure that goes all the way through, and be careful. See, and then go up just a little bit, not a lot. Same thing over here. Go up just a little bit, not a lot. And then I'm gonna take whatever piece I want, the male or the female. Go ahead and just stick that through. Now I'm going to take and do the same thing. Find the middle. Keep that folded right there. Now I'm going to take, I like to do it this way, all right? It's a little bit easier. And now I'm going to take and put my female piece onto that. Found the middle. I'm just going to line these two up. That's it. Line these up. They're aligned. And just push right down. All right, they're lined up, and then I'm just going to push just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Poke. Come up a little bit, not a lot. Poke. Come up a little bit, not a lot. Take this off. Make sure you take this piece off also. Take this off, put this in. Push it through. All right, push it through. Then go back over here, do the same. Push it, put this back in, push it through. All right, so now I have that done. Now, so we have these in, right? So I did this, have these in. Now, how we're gonna close these up? Remember when you cut these, right, from the contrasting fabric? I want you to take and take one of those pieces, cut them in half. Now what you're gonna do is do the same exact thing. Take in, make the mark. Take your seam ripper, seam it up, and put this right on top of that. It gives it, to me, I think it gives it a little bit more protection, a little bit. It makes it a little bit more sturdier, kind of, it won't pull out as much or anything of that nature. And also at the same time, I think me personally, it gives a little bit more strength to it, because this is going to be one of the things that's going to be a lot of wear and tear right there. Typically, if I was using cotton, I would take I would do this with like a stabilizer, something a little bit more, something like a stabilizer, or even a it's something interface like a SF101, what we've been using for like the cotton. I would take and fold that into like fours and put that on there also if I was using that, and then I would take another piece of interfacing and put it over top of it and interface that in to hold it down. Now, when it comes down to this, some people like to do these in the middle. Some people like to do them out. Me personally, I like to do them in towards the middle. So I like to use my scissors, or you can use your finger to kind of get it down a little bit. Then you can take, if you have a mallet. If you don't, it's fine. If you have a mallet, take it. Nothing too much. So I'm gonna do the same thing with this. Put that there. Close it up. Take my mallet. All right, so now I got my hardware on. So we did hardware for the first time. Now, once again, go to the sewing machine and now do your, oh my gosh, and now do your pocket. And so as I was sewing up my pocket, I totally forgot to put these things on. Oh my goodness. So all we have to do is we can go ahead and lift these up. No wonder they kind of went down the way that they went down for me. Lift these up. And if it hurts your fingers, take like your take like your seam ripper, or you can take a butter knife and just lift these up right here, and then just go ahead and just plop them down. I'm glad I was able to see that and I caught that. Oh. And once you're done with that, once you have your pocket sewn on, you can actually go ahead and stitch up the lining. Remember we're only stitching the sides. We're gonna stitch here, but leave about a 6-inch gap right there. Stitch here and then stitch up here. We're not stitching this, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix this, and you go ahead and fix it also if you did it, and then go ahead and if you want to, go ahead and sew up your lining. Okay, now here's the fun part. So I want you to take one of your straps. We're gonna fold it in half, find the middle, and then we're gonna cut it in half. So now you should have a total of 4 straps, 2 short ones and 2 long ones. So what we're going to take and do, we're going to take one short one. Typically, what I like to do, I like to do this one at a time when making these straps. Because the tape, it holds pretty well, but it doesn't hold as well. You can use glue if you like and things of that nature, but that takes a little bit of time. So what I'm going to do is I already know where the middle's at. So what you do is find the middle of this, and you're going to take and put your tape down from end to end. And take the other side off. And then what we're going to do is fold this into the middle, both sides, all right? Me, personally, I like to start in the middle. For me, for some reason, it's a little easier. And I'll do this all the way down. And then I'll do the other side also on this side until once I get this down, all right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. So I have one done. I'm going to take my my roller, or, you know, if you have the can of peas, and then I'm just going to roll this, all right? Another thing that I'm going to do, because what happens is this tape starts to lift, like I said. So I'm going to take some pins and just hold this down just for a little bit. I don't need to put it in the whole entire area. Just gonna hold this down for a little bit. All right, so it's gonna hold the tape as much as it can, right? So I'm gonna take and put that over to the side. Now I'm gonna take a longer one, and I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Now one thing I like to do to try to save on this tape, so I'll find the middle. Find the middle there, and then I'll start here. I'll put a little bit right here. Come up, put a little bit right there. And then put some down here to save on this tape. All right. And then I'll do the same thing. Go ahead and take these off. Take these off and start in the middle, and then fold in half again. Once again, this is how it looks. It becomes one. This actually becomes 1 inch. All right. So go ahead and do that. Also, if you have a lot of these tapes, a lot of this is fine how much you use, depending. I just like to try to be a little bit figures. I can never say that word. Try to be a little cheap with it. Let's put it that way. All right. So go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, as I'm putting this tape on, folding this in the middle,
one thing that I like to do, because like I said, this tape sometimes it comes up, and also since I don't have a lot of tape here, I tend to like to put the clips as I'm doing this also. So even when I come up here, when I come to here, I'm going to put clips right here once I get here, all right? So that kind of look, let's see if I can do it a little bit, if I can kind of do it fast real quick. So that looks like, as I'm doing this, and then here I'll go ahead and I'll stick a clip right there. Only because of the fabric, only because of the faux leather and how it is, because it starts to come up a little bit. And at the same time, it gives me a little bit more control also on when I come here and I do it in the middle. So now as I'm doing it in the middle, I'll take some clips. I can just fold it, take a clip, put that right there. Do it again, take a clip, put it right there. All right. Try to get it down as much as possible. All right. It doesn't have to be perfect at the moment. All right. So I just wanted to show you guys that, and I will be right back. Okay, so we have it all taped up, right? We have it all taped up. As you can see, it's starting to pop up. So this is why I said I do one at a time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold this in half. Locate the middle of this. Then I'm going to also fold this in half. Locate the middle of this. I'm going to push this down so it kind of gives it a little bit of a crease, and you'll be able to see it when you open it. So once I open it up, I see my crease right there where the middle's at. And then I take and put this one. I put these face down, so like I guess wrong sides together. So now when I do it, so all I see is I see clean. I don't see this. I see clean on both sides. And then I'll just go ahead and pin and then clip these together to keep them together, keep them steady, and I will be right back. So I have these pinned together, not like pin, but close pin together. And what I'm going to do is go to the sewing machine and top stitch right along that edge, all the way down and all the way down. I'm going to keep this still, don't touch this part yet, but we're going to top stitch from here all the way down, top stitch from here all the way down to the end of here. All right, and then I'll be right back. All right, okay, so as you can see, I have these sewn, have this sewn down, have these two sewn together. Stops right there, stops right there. Right. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my lining piece, my exterior piece, sorry. And remember, I like 3 inches in. All right. So I'm going to, well, 3.5. I'm going to go 3.5 inches in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now that I have it 3.5 inches in, I'm going to take a piece of tape and put that right about there to all the way down to about there. And I'm going to come on the other side and do the exact same thing. 3.5 inches in. Right about there. Bring it down to right about there. And tear it off. Now I'm going to take this off. Take this off. Now I'm going to take that strap. Now this side, once again, I need to hide these sides, so I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to make sure when I put this down, I'm not going to put it on just yet. I'm going to make sure that when I put it down, it's not twisted or anything of that nature. So what I'm going to do is take this and put this onto the edge right here. Now, remember, because we did a thing where we don't have that much tape, and also this is starting to come undone, is I'm going to make sure, I'm going to try to get this as close as possible. All right. Now I'm gonna take and put this down here at the bottom of this. Put a clip there. Now I'm gonna take and just go straight up, pushing that onto it right there. Now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Right there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take and I'm going to sew all the way to about right here. All right, so it's almost like where you kind of left off with this. Sorry, you can't see it. Where you kind of left off with the stitch is where you're gonna kind of want to start at and then go all the way down. All right, so where you left off with this stitch, you're gonna start there and then come down, and then you're just gonna sew this on. I'll be right back. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. So we have one done. Now we're gonna take and do the exact same thing to the next one. All right. So remember all the steps we just did. We're gonna do it to the second one. All right, and then we're gonna put this together. All right. So we're gonna here, every single step again. All right. Go ahead and go do that, and I'll meet you back here. All right, as you can see, I have both of my exterior pieces done. The straps are on. Got the straps on and everything. Now, when I go to sew these, I'm going to do all the steps that we've done so far. That's what you're going to do. You're going to do all of the steps that you have done so far. We're not doing anything different. The only thing that we're going to do differently is that when we go to stuff our exterior into the lining pocket, into the lining piece, we're just going to pull this down. Right? We're just going to pull it down so I'd be able to get that room. I still have some tape on mine. But we're just going to pull it down so where it can be able to get that room and I can be able to sew around it. That's the only thing that we're going to do different. So we're going to put these on the inside when we stuff them. Put these on the inside like this and then just go have it sewn around, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. And when we get done, we're just coming back and we're going to talk. That's it.
Done. Before I show you what the bag looks like, can you believe this one pattern, we were able to get 3 different styles of bags. 3 different styles. We did our first style, our second style, and our third style. We were able to make 3 different styles of bag from just one simple pattern. Let me go ahead and do that. One pattern. We did 3 different styles of bags from one pattern. Now, one thing I want to do the next episode that we're going to do, we're going to take this same pattern, right? But we're going to see what it looks like if we make this pattern a little bit shorter and a little bit wider. What can we actually make with that? It's going to be the exact same thing, but we're just going to make it shorter and make it wider. Hey, once again, as always, if you like today's video, share. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Thank you for joining PQF Academy.